All right, let's talk about this. We got some news, man. Let's talk about the story we got from the New York Post. FBI brass warned agents off Hunter Biden laptop due to 2020 election, according to whistleblowers. FBI officials told agents not to investigate first son Hunter Biden's infamous laptop for months, vowing that the Bureau was, quote, not going to change the outcome of the election again, according to whistleblower claims made public by Wednesday by Senator Ron Johnson. These new allegations provide even more evidence of FBI corruption and renew calls for you to take immediate steps to investigate the FBI's actions, regardless of the laptop, Johnson wrote in a letter to Justice Department Inspector General Michael Horowitz. According to the senator, individuals with knowledge had told his office that local FBI leadership had slow-walked the laptop investigation after the computer was recovered from a Wilmington, Delaware repair shop in December of 2019. We got this story from the Examiner. Jim Jordan says more FBI whistleblowers are coming forward every other week. Here's where it gets crazy. The FBI said not to investigate very serious crimes, which literally involved the man running. And the excuse was, we don't want to interfere in an election. It's like, no, you're literally interfering. You're pausing your job, not bringing criminal justice accountability to a corrupt family because the person's running for office. At the same time, right now, Donald Trump, who we all know is going to be running, is having his home raided by the FBI, and they're cheering for it. So very clearly, what's the word for, when we've done hundreds of shows, thousands of segments, and we just talk about political civil war, conflict, weaponization of the DOJ, all of that stuff. And this is certainly should be a cold splash of water in the face of the average person. And if this doesn't do it for you, to somebody, and they don't believe it, there's no change in their minds. You actually have the FBI whistleblower saying, we were told not to investigate a Hunter Biden laptop, which includes Joe Biden. Meanwhile, Donald Trump currently right now is having his home raided. Okay, there you go. It's busted. What do we do?
We do what we do, which is, I'm glad you pointed out, doing nothing is a form of doing something. Often sitting by and watching evil take place is an active thing you do. So they certainly influence the election by not getting involved or by choosing to ignore it. That's a form of influence.
It would be if, let's say there's a house on fire and it's got evidence of a crime in it. And the firefighters are like, I'm not going to put that fire out because then somebody might find that evidence and use that against the person who lives there. So we'd rather just let the place burn down, I guess. That makes no sense. The FBI, they're law enforcement. They're supposed to say, we will stop criminal activity. This means Hunter Biden could have been actively engaged in criminal activity for a year. And the FBI was like, well, Joe Biden's going to run for office, so we better just let him do it. There you go. Welcome to, what's the word for it? What do we call this era in American history? Is there a word we can use?
I don't know. I mean, it's just such a partisan play, right? We don't want to influence an election depending on who's running and also who we don't want to run. It's just so strange and open. I am surprised that the FBI isn't. I was really surprised when the obvious answer after Mar-a-Lago was people being like, we don't know that we trust the FBI. Why are we letting this organization run this way? And the response was, no, you can't say that about this giant government institution. It seems like it's clearly biased to favor Democrats right now and to protect Democrats who might be conducting or acting illegally, but obviously choosing to investigate Trump and other Republicans. It's just, how can you even trust the system when it's so obviously biased?
But they don't care.
No, they don't.
I think what they're really trying to do is protect the liberal economic order, which is this global, thing we've had since 1946, basically to prevent World War III. I don't personally think it's a Democrat-Republican thing. I think they're trying to hold up the old order.
I disagree somewhat. I agree that there are powerful interests and entities that clearly want the liberal international economy to stay afloat. But people are chatting about Sam Harris as a good example of exactly what is going on here. Sam Harris, he said the quiet part out loud. Mm-hmm. And then he tried walking it back because he realized what he was saying, what he was admitting to. He said he would not care if Hunter Biden had the corpses of children in his basement. It's like, you realize who's giving this guy money and who's funding this and what that investigation would actually lead to, but they don't care. This is they're psychopaths. I don't know. What's the mental Trump derangement syndrome? Is that the official diagnosis? You have people who are like Sam Harris, literally saying Hunter Biden could be abusing and murdering kids, but Trump once had a university, and that's worse. He actually said those words. He said, I wouldn't care if there were corpses of children in Hunter Biden's basement. What Trump did with Trump University was way worse than anything Hunter Biden could have done. And it's like, what? Like the worst case scenario is Trump opened a fake university and ripped some people off. And that's worse than Joe Biden funneling U.S. taxpayer money to Ukraine and getting us involved in war and surrendering in Afghanistan?
Among other things.